All right, we'll get started with the Town of Cedar Point Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Start with a roll call. Joe Murillo.
Here.
Michael Castellano.
Here.
Brad Smith. Here. Bill Davis.
Here.
TJ Williams. All present. Assuming everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from last time, any concerns, edits, or problems? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Seconded. All in favor? Right, that passes for approval of last meeting minutes. Moving on to new business, first and only issue today is a rezoning request RZ 2025 tax 03, a request to rezone a parcel behind 130 Masonic Avenue from rural agricultural to B1 business. Dave?
All right, well, I had fully anticipated the applicant to be here this evening, so I don't know why they are not.
Okay.
I just reached out to him a minute ago to see if someone was coming and haven't received a response yet. So we can certainly move forward in their absence if you want. Or, okay.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. Well, the proposal is to rezone the space behind the boat shop, which is currently rural agricultural, to B1 business, presumably based on the application that they want to expand the storage area. Can you pull up the app?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll walk you through it. I'm not going to read through the rezoning application itself. It was prepared by Tidewater Associates on behalf of the owner, N&M Rental Properties LLC, which is Neil and Mary Weeks, who are the owners of Performance East, the boat business in front of it. They are requesting the property to be zoned to B1 from the current RA zoning. And they provided their reasoning. Therefore, they want to expand their existing marine business onto the adjoining property. Here is a map of the property showing their existing Performance East, and in the blue color here. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to turn on the TV. Go ahead and turn it as well. So. There we go. See, I can see it as well. The property in teal here is the parcel that is subject to the rezoning. All right, so I just got a message back. Josh Edmondson was wondering when that was today in our staff meeting. I'm not available. We'll check with him real quick. Sorry. So somebody might be showing up here shortly. Then the next map that you see behind that is showing all of the adjoining property owners. All of these property owners were provided notification about the hearing, including the applicant and property owner. And then here is a map showing the existing zoning of the property and the adjoining properties. So to the north, you have a little segment here that's basically a stormwater pond for Marsh Harbor, zoned R15, not likely to ever be developed in any way. Across the street from it, you have the Boathouse Creek Park, which is zoned RA. Some parcels over here zoned RA, which belong to Haywood Weeks, not related to Neil. And then there's a parcel here that was initially laid out to be deeper for the anticipated new sport shop, but it was never developed beyond a smaller tract. So that wasn't needed to be rezoned to B3, but they want to keep it that for now. And then to the south is Performance East, owned by the similar property owner, and also to the east is zone B1. So you are surrounded by both B1 and RA. So that is the application as it was submitted. Now, in going through the land use plan, which is something we always have to take a look at. Up here for you. Let me on this Zoom real quick. share the screen so if somebody's watching it later, they can see the same thing. All right. So we have the different goals that we have to kind of walk through and figure out what would be applicable. But so I'll start with the first one that we really need to take a look at here is to ensure land use compatibility. Anytime we're looking at a rezoning request, L1 here says utilize the future land use map as well as the accompanying future land use factors map when considering any major development proposal, rezoning, or similar application for a change in the land use or development in the study area. So we go up here and take a look at our future land use map. This is it. You can see the different colors here. Representative, green's agriculture, yellow is residential, red is commercial, and dark green is park. The property that we're looking at is right here in the yellow. If you see the mouse in this kind of squared off area, you can kind of compare it to this one. So you see the point sticking up and then it comes down and across, and there's that little point sticking up. So under our future land use map, which was adopted in 2023, it actually designated this parcel for future use for residential as opposed to commercial. Now, that does not stop the board from making a recommendation that you change that to allow it to be commercial. You can certainly consider a request. But what that means is in doing so, you also have to make a recommendation that the future land use map also be updated to reflect that parcel as being commercial. Everybody understand that? So that is something in either regard, whatever consistency statement that you agree to this evening, it will say that the proposal is not consistent with the land use plan. One of them will basically stop there. And the other one, if you decide to move forward with the rezoning, would say it is not consistent with the land use plan. However, based on all these additional considerations and factors, we recommend that it be rezoned and also that the future land use plan be updated accordingly. Okay, so you still have the option either way. We'll go through the language of that, of those two consistency statements as well. But with that, the general statutes basically say when that takes place, as it's under North Carolina General Statute GS 160D 605, there's some other factors that you can consider when taking a look at this. So I'll go through that list, but before I do that, let me jump back over to the language in L1 that we looked at. It said, this is something you need to be aware of and consider. Utilize a future land use map as well as the accompanying future land use factors map. So we've looked at the land use map. Now let's look at the factors map. And basically what it's doing is looking at the environmental impacts that we as a town face. So I'll zoom in here for you on that property. And everything in this light colored blue is considered an environmentally sensitive area. If you look down here at the what do you call it? Legend. Thank you. For whatever reason, name slipped my mind. If you look at the legend, it would indicate that this is an environmentally sensitive area. The parcel at issue is outside of it. So there really isn't any bearing from that map standpoint on your decision tonight. Other than it's not something that we need to really take into consideration, any kind of environmentally sensitive issues there. So looking at some of the standards in the general statutes to consider, the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area proposed to be rezoned. You know, how large of an area is it? The benefits and detriments to the landowners, the neighbors, and the surrounding community of the proposed rezoning. The relationship between the current actual and permissible development on the tract in adjoining areas and the development that would be permissible under the proposed amendment. So take a look at the permitted use table, see what's allowed, what's around there, how all that works together. Why the action taken is in the public interest. is in the public interest to keep it as is, or is in the public interest to change it, and why? And have there been any changes in the area that would warrant the amendment as far as from the future land use plan? Has there been any development, any thoughts that would cause you to reconsider that change? So those are kind of the things that you need to talk through and think about in making this decision tonight. I have gone ahead and prepared a layout of pages from our UDO that highlight the differences between the current and the proposed zoning. So on this list, load up large enough for everybody can see here. Anything that is listed as green, highlighted in green, is something that's allowed in the RA zoning district. You'll see there's a P in both of those two green areas. Anything that you see that's in yellow would indicate that it is currently allowed in both districts. This is your RA and this is your B1. So anything in green is RA only, everything in yellow is RA and B1, and everything in red is B1. And those are generally the colors we use for RA and B1. That's why I use green and red. So as you can see, there's a lot of different businesses that would be allowed in a B1 than an RA. I'll scroll through them. If you want to stop and talk about them, just tell me stop, or if you want to go back and talk about them, able to do so. So I've prepared this more for your individual discussion.
So I see the boat sales, service and repair. But I mean, as we've talked about in the past, once we change the zone to pick a B and a number, anything could go there in the future. Anything that's you highlighted here, red.
That's correct.
Unless it was a conditional rezoning, right?
Correct. And what they're proposing at this point is not. If they were here, that'd be certainly something that I would suggest to consider by both sides.
Yeah.
I noticed that although boat sales and service is permitted in B1, a boat storage yard is not permitted in B1. My understanding from the application is the intent is simply to have a yard where they store boats. So
Well, that is something that needs to be clarified as well. If it is for storage of boats that are for sale, or if it is parking for boats that are in the process of being repaired, those would be fine.
that is okay.
A boat storage yard is an area where people pay a fee for the purpose of storing their boat, and that is not allowed.
Did the owners of this property own this? Is this something they recently bought, or they've always had it since Performance East went in?
They bought it a couple of years ago, but it was after Performance East.
So it was there and they just picked up the parcel. So that's what I'm going, why did we rezone it when Performance East? Okay, if they had owned it, but they didn't, okay.
They
That's
did
what I
not.
wanted. Okay.
Keep scrolling down and see how big that red list is. Oh, it's big.
We're only at
We're only in
C's.
Cs.
That just goes. Yeah. If somebody's worked on this, thank you, David, a few years ago.
Well, you all
I know.
walk through it line by line. All I did today for you was highlight them for you
Yeah.
based on colors.
Storage.
How conditional can you be?
As conditional as you and the property owner are willing to agree to. I mean, he's going to be giving up one of the few places in town that you can actually have stables and horses.
I'm good with that. Like, we should keep it there.
There's not many in town.
They could sell trailers in there too.
Well, I'll open it up for public comments on this particular issue. If anybody has a comment about this particular issue, you just come forward, just let your Jane know your name and your address.
I know you're.
Oh, you know. Okay.
Yes. A girlfriend and I used to be at the very entrance to Cedar Fest. You know, the boat was not a park at that point. When it rains, it floods. So is this going to make that worse? I mean, it really floods. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. I think the town entertained having some native plants put in there. Because one of them, the guy came and made a presentation, was little blue stem. Well, in order for the crystal skipper butterfly to have a place as a host, it has to be the seashore little blue stem. So it's complicated, but I'm a master gardener. I have access to NC state information. So if and when they want to do something to absorb some of that water naturally, there are a lot of plants that would also be a host to like that butterfly that's only within Hammocks Beach to Fort Macon in the world. So when you take pieces of property like that, there's more to consider than human, because we're also dependent on all of the creatures in the environment. And it floods. Has anything been done about that?
So I don't know when the last time you saw it flooding,
No, I haven't.
but probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We actually went in, Public Works guys, see if we can pull it up on the street view here. Give me just a second. The guys went out there and we put in a ditch to drain that water into the park to get it off the road. It used to be, what she's talking about is right there at the intersection of Little Bay. We had a minivan back at the time, we still do, but the one we had at the time, we got down there and I opened the door just to see how deep the water was, and it was almost coming in the van.
It's serious.
It was that deep at the time. And so, yeah, I don't have street view there to show it. But right here, you should be able to see it on this aerial. Let me turn off the layer here. But we did, Public Works did go in there and dig the ditch to keep it from flooding in the road. There is a ditch on the park property that now holds all of that water to keep it from flooding. I was trying to turn off the parks layer. Here it is. You can see it right here where it drains that water off of the road into our park now. As far as what they would be required to do, anytime you disturb more than ½ acre or 10,000 square feet of impervious surface, you have to have a state stormwater permit. They had to have that for this property here. And they will have to have it, which is basically what you see, this large area right here is their stormwater pond. And they would have to have one down at this lower area. It would probably be in this general area, which is the lower part of that property, if I had my guess. Just like there's a stormwater pond right here for Marsh Harbor. But yes, they would be required to put one in.
But there's a lot more to way nature takes care of water and microorganisms that are necessary than a ditch. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, all these trees probably going to be gravel. We breathe because of trees. If we keep taking it all and ditching it all, that's just not a very good answer. And if this isn't an approved use, then why would we change it when they can put in, once it's changed, you're right, they can put anything they want in there. There's a lot that can be put in there. I'm not opposed to growth. It's just, there's a lot to consider about the creatures that live in that help us breathe. And a gravel parking lot full of boats is not part of it. And we have very little space left. That's just something I wanted to point out to you. Thank you.
David, that little trapezoidal remaining lot next to it is also zoned agricultural, or
Residential.
it's residential.
Let me go back to. You're talking about this
That
parcel right
little
here?
square, yeah.
It is zoned R15.
Okay.
And the reason it's zoned R15, if you look, it actually connects all the way from there over to here. It's all one tract of land that was kind of left over from the development of Marsh Harbor. But its use is actually that of a stormwater pond. It's kind of shaded, about half of its trees, and the rest of it, if you go down there and look at it, you'll see the depression of it for holding stormwater.
So they would have to follow the appropriate business to residential buffer
That's correct.
requirements and everything. 30-foot offset or whatever it would be for B1.
And that's dependent on the use itself.
Yes,
that buffer.
yeah,
It's currently RA, right?
It is currently RA.
Residential agriculture.
Rural
Rural,
agriculture.
which means if I want to go in there, I cut all the trees down and put collards on there.
You could.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, the fact that it's zoned RA doesn't prevent anybody that owned it from just clear cutting it. Other than stormwater runoff issues and growing whatever they want to grow in. That's why, okay.
Yeah, lot that size, they would have to have a sedimentation erosion control permit from the town or from the state. And then once they had that, we would issue them the zoning permit. Yeah, we wouldn't have anything in place that would prohibit them from clearing it for vegetables or horses.
Gentlemen, do you have any concerns that would need to be addressed by the applicant? Things that you feel are unanswered at this point?
I have a list of questions.
Nothing we need to wait for.
Yeah.
I just say, I have a concern that this is. You're well out of the central business or the central business corridor. You know, we've had some of these in the past where we're sort of pushing applicants wanting to push business into residential, kind of zones. I would definitely have a concern with an unconditional rezoning. Feel more comfortable if there was a conditional rezoning and understanding what precisely they wanted to do there, which isn't clear. Even if we just said, even if we conditionally rezone for boat sales and service, it could mean warehouse, it could mean a lot of other things, and we just don't know.
So those are where my comments are centered on. So, I'm gonna go over some history because I know we got a new member, but so in the past, we have rezoned residential areas to business, but they were right on 21. So if you can highlight like the accounting firm, that was right on 21, but that really didn't change.
24.
I'm sorry, 24. So we rezoned a business, right? It was a house and they wanted to have an accounting firm on it. So there's two. So there's one on
Oh, you're talking about
down towards Swansboro.
Yeah.
Right. Keep going right
Right there.
right here.
right here.
Yeah.
So we rezoned that one to business, so accounting, right?
As a conditional B1.
Okay, but that really has no impact. It's still working out of the house. There was something we did on if you go to Bell Street, so to go with what
Yeah.
Joe was talking
On the
about.
corner there.
So what Joe's talking about is, so in the back, that used to be Sound Furniture and number 600 on 24. So prior to everybody, so that's where Sound Furniture used to be till it burned. And then you can see how they kept building their business back. Interesting that 119 prior to, I think, anybody on this board became business. But where the contention and we had a lot of discussion is where 121 used to be residential. And so it became a business with a 40-foot build. And initially we were told that it was going to be storage for sound furniture and for carburetor heating and cooling. Now, I don't know what it is. But that's a 40-foot building right next to the house on one.
It's storage for Carter heating and cooling.
Okay, but you got a 40-foot high building right next to 123. So you can see where businesses are wildly successful on 24, and they're wanting to keep moving inward into neighborhoods. There was another one by Winberry, the vegetable stand. There was another house that we rezoned from residential to business, but again, it's on 24, so it really didn't matter. I think that was on Jones Street. Is that where it was? It was, I thought it was gonna be like 101. I thought there was a house there that was gonna be rezoned business.
That was
But-
further down, that was Bill, I thought it was down about Bill's.
Yeah,
Bud's
Okay.
Lane.
but
Or
I-
Bud's Lane, Bud's
Bud's
Lane,
Lane.
not Bill's.
Yeah, it's the one at Buzz Lane.
but so
Earlier.
I mean, to Joe's point, we have in recent history rezoned from residential to business, but we tried to keep it on 24. But also Joe's point is that if you go to the intersection of 24 and 58, according to our land use plan, that all that yellow there, that's supposed to be where our high concentrated commercial development is supposed to be in that, like, was it 1,000-foot circle around that area?
That would be the central business.
Central
overlay
business
district. They would
overlay.
also have
Yeah,
a
CBD.
business corridor.
Up
that runs-
58, up Old Highway
Yeah,
58.
the corridor and the CBD.
Yeah, so I mean, I quickly took notes as David rolled through there, but we're supposed to maintain a small coastal community, small town feel, and we're concentrating the commercial development along Old Highway 58. So I just hesitant, and when you go back to the area, to the applicant, I mean, his business obviously wildly successful. But what is Marsh Harbor? What do they say? Any feedback from them, from their HOA, because they're a neighboring community?
No.
Okay, what about over to the west from the Weeks? Any feedback from them? Yeah, so
We
I
received no feedback.
yeah, I just, as you're driving down driving down Masonic, going to Cedar Fest. I mean, just to have another, I don't know how long that property, I'm gonna make a number, is that 1,000 feet? I don't know how many feet that is. Just to have another boat storage
343 feet.
is, I don't think it's compatible. I'd be amenable if they were to build some houses there, residential. But not to change it to business, or yeah, B1. So I know that's, I mean, those are my thoughts, because it just, our businesses on 24 are very successful. The only way to expand is into residential, rural agricultural areas. And I think we as a planning board should resist that temptation.
Well, I mean, I agree with you as a individual, but I'm looking here going, if you own that property and you go, okay, I can put whatever I want to on there as far as the farm goes and cut down every tree on it within reason. That's why I asked that question. Or you let me build this in here where I have to meet water runoff, stormwater runoff requirements by the state, county and issues, whatever. I'm looking to expand, so you're telling me I can't expand my business, even though I own the property? I mean, I tend to agree with this, but I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's like, all right, so how the heck did you allow all these other people to cut down every tree in Megan's Bay and Marsh Harbor? To do that? Why am I worried about that being residential when they're over here and they got to cut off here, and I'm all over businesses everywhere there except right behind me, and in a little corner, which is also a business storage area. So I'm really not tied into it other than their buffer zone there, which you're never going to build on. Who is going to buy this and put houses on there when it's next to this business? I mean, in other words, what am I supposed to do with the property that I have purchased? Okay, I mean, like other people do, you took a shot and you lost, I'm guessing. but that's what we're telling them.
As I was going around tonight, pulling up my wife's, reelect me signs. Had some signs down by Little Bay and Masonic, and that boatyard back there. There's a lot of a lot of lights. I mean, it's just, I think it would detract from us keeping a small coastal community vibe back there. Whether it stays as RA or put a couple houses, I think you could still maintain that without having an industrial look to it.
You could put 11 housing units if you did multifamily there.
Okay. That's okay.
So just so you have a concept of what is,
And I think the largest unit would be what, 5 or 4 in that size, because you couldn't have string all 11 together, right? We'd have to break it up.
you could put them all over together. Townhouses,
I thought we broke them up 4 or 5 blocks.
Depends on, I think it's depends on how
Yeah, I think they have.
the land house.
Yeah, thought it had to be broken up, but anyhow, okay.
But I would just offer that I think that. I mean, at least I would be willing to listen to the case of a conditional rezoning if there was something specific they're gonna do there and it was gonna be. Sort of low traffic, low development. That'd be different, at least in my mind. But the unconditional rezoning, that anything in B1 then would be fair game is at least a concern for me.
So I think at this point, we have 3 options going forward. We can recommend to the Board of Commissioners approval, but it sounds like from the group that we are not at that stage right now. We could move the application forward with a recommendation for that the Board of Commissioners disapprove it based on the fact that it's not consistent with our land use plan and the other concerns that we have. Or I suppose we could recommend tabling it for the next meeting and giving the applicant a second opportunity to come back and address our concerns. I hate to push stuff down the road. Is it going to change anyone's decision based on what they hear?
I mean, I'm hesitant, so they knew it was, they filed this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a multitude of boats. 6+, I mean, I don't know how many, but he's got a lot of
Yeah, a
boats.
lot of them.
Like, if it was this important in my mind, he should have been here to talk to us.
well, he did hire a consultant to do that.
Well, okay, then, John's a great guy, but Jonathan didn't step
Yeah,
up.
John's great guy.
Yeah.
So,
I'm at the table because I agree. I like to hear what he's got to say, and then what is he gonna listen to what our concerns are, both public and ours, in the sense of, hey, you're there. We're running out of space. We are running out of space.
we're narrow, because we're a narrow town.
I mean, there's only so many ways. You can only go either that way or that way at 24. That's all there is left. Behind Red Ferns, there's only so many places. And eventually, I mean, I hate to be the person that, because where I live now used to be trees too. Everywhere anybody that lives in this town right now, almost everywhere they've been, used to be trees at some point in time. It's just the way it is. Some of us came sooner than later. But if we can work it, we might can work something here if we hear from them, to be able to satisfy concerns. I don't know if anybody would build on it. I mean, you're right, you could put housing on there, but maybe somebody would do it. But again, I hate to say you own some property and now we tell you can't do what you want to do. That to a point. I mean, there's got to be rules. So I table it. That's my thought.
Well, and I think if we hear from them, then there may be a way that the conditional use and what they're planning on doing will take into account the environmental factors, and they can reconfigure it so that if they're just expanding what they're doing right now over there and reconfiguring it, if they can do that in a more environmentally friendly way.
Hey, I need more places to park new boats. Well, sell them and then replace them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's like
storage.
cars. I don't put so many cars on a car lot to sell, and after they sold
Table
it.
it and hear
Oh, I
what
don't
they
know.
have to say, and it'll be clear.
Well, someone want to propose a motion?
I make a motion to table the rezoning request, RZ, I can't read, I didn't bring.
2025. That's your
2025-2
three.
or 3, whatever it is. I have to bring my pass in the future. My eyes get bored. For the next scheduled meeting, and as long as we have a representative of the applicant present, so we can address concerns.
Able to allow them a second.
Yes,
chance to
second.
Come back.
Yeah,
and address.
come back and address the concerns. Board has.
Do we have a second to that motion? Second. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Against?
I'm against.
I'm against.
Yeah.
So, but motion
That
carries.
would be
2-4. We will table it for next meeting.
That would be December 2nd.
Got it?
And you voted nay, Mr.
Nay.
Gaston?
And I voted nay.
Okay.
You voted?
Yeah.
Okay,
I like to make decisions and just.
good. Okay, well, it's already-
Because I mean, if it was that important, they'd be here, representative be here.
Would you consider staying one more month?
So
I may not be living, I may not be eligible.
Oh, yeah.
that wraps up the new business. Open to general public comments. Anything exciting, public comments, any additional comments? No. Okay.
I
Yes.
had just one thing. I wanted to remind everyone of our Christmas party. Regrets only if you cannot come. Joe, we really need you and Josie to be there, please.
Okay,
Okay, that's my last request. I won't
Yeah.
bother you anymore. That's all. Thank you.
Comments from the board members. I'll just say a note of appreciation to Joe for all of
Yeah.
his years of service to planning
Thank
board,
you.
because I heard you're gonna be leaving us.
Yeah.
But appreciate it and wish you well.
thanks.
You
Keep it
selected
always-
your replacement. You have to provide a replacement. otherwise
Yeah.
you can't-
Lynn and Phil,
You're not selling your house here, right?
not until the spring.
So it's still on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give it about 2 years, just hang on to it.
You might want to come
Just
back.
saying.
Yeah.
You can still come and join the gallery. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn, or are there any other issues?
No issue, but comment, appreciate this. Well, you know, Cedar Fest was a success for the town. Lots of volunteers, thank you. To Jane, David, Mayor, all, you know, commissioners working there, volunteers, so it was a good time. And, have a safe next month, and we'll see everybody at the Christmas party in December.
9th,
Yeah, December 2nd.
meeting's December 2nd.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Second. Second. All in favor? We are adjourned.
Joe, do you